So welcome to our webinar and about how to create your action plan. Now just make sure that you can see that okay. So our action plan is everything that will help you to get to the next level and beyond. And there really are just 7 steps to get you to help you to grow your business. And so tonight I'm hoping to share those with you, and that you'll go away with actionable steps that you can start tonight if you want to. And that's what I'd advise you to do, because doing it right now is the best way to get started. So first of all, the income disclosure statement. You'll find this in Virtual Office, and if you've seen the income disclosure statement lately, you will see that it's changed slightly. So there is a brand new one available, and it's actually a 3-page document. And I just think it's brilliant because not only has it got our information, so the first thing that I would suggest is going and downloading this from Virtual Office and making sure that you have this at all times, and put it up somewhere where you can see it and start to get familiar with the numbers on it. Because one of the things about some of the bigger numbers, especially if you're wanting to get to ranks like Royal Crown Diamond, is some of those numbers can seem really scary. The average income for a Royal Crown Diamond per month is $144,000, 551. So if that sounds scary to you, you need to get used to these numbers and look at it often, understand it, know what it means, and be able to show somebody else this. If they ask, what kind of incomes can you make in Young Living? This is what you need to show them. And so this is why we use it. And there's also in the new version 2 more sheets with that, which has some great little summary points, which make almost a little mini presentation in themselves. So you can, if someone asks you about the business, this is a perfect resource for you. And put it up on your wall and treat it like a vision board that you can refer to often and really get to understand and feel familiar with it. Because the more familiar with it you are, the more that you're going to feel the pull towards those ranks. So just a little bit about me. If you haven't met me before, my name's Jen Gallagher, and this is my family, including my dad and one of my rescue greyhounds, Sammy, in the front there, photobombing us. And I've just had an amazing journey with Young Living. It was 11 years ago that the products came into our lives. I was actually a teacher and a guidance officer with the education department, and I was really stressed out in my job, like a lot of people are, and I really was didn't know what to do, and Young Living came into my life. I used to drive past my school and just think, I just don't want to turn into school today, and I just don't want to go. And so when Young Living came in and we started using the products, what I found is our whole family became happier and healthier. And then from there, that's when I decided that I wanted to start sharing it. It really lit my soul up to share the products. And so that's what I did. And we've just, it's opened our whole family to the purpose and abundance that Young Living can give you, as well as the wellness. So it's been an amazing journey. Let's get on with our action plan. I hope you've got a pen and paper ready, and because I'm going to be asking you to write some things down as we go along. And after you've watched this whole webinar, you can go back and fill in some more information, elaborate on parts of it, really get into a space and think about what you need to do for each of those areas that I'm going to be talking about. But really just, maybe jot down some things as we're talking that comes to you while we're talking. Now, one of the things that is always important when you start an action plan, and the other thing too, is if you've been doing your Young Living business, the great thing is you can start or restart your business anytime. So you can decide right now that your business is going to be different from this point on, and you're really going to focus and create that action plan and follow things through. So you can do that at any time. So you don't have to be brand new to start an action plan. You just need to decide, make that decision and do it. So as I'm going along, you might want to write down these headings, and I'll talk about the action planner, how you filling that in at the end as well. So you will get the action planner as well, and so you can fill it in as well as you can journal about it as well. So the first thing is, what's your why? Now, you've probably heard this many times before. People always ask, why are you doing this? Why Young Living? Why a Young Living business? And it's something we really need to think about, because we need to understand, what really brings us to why we want to do this. And I heard a great acronym for why. If you think WHY, and the W stands for what, H stands for hurts, and Y stands for you. So what hurts you? So for me, my pain point was having to go to this stressful job every day and feeling unhappy in my job. And that was what really hurt me every day, that I had to be away from my family, and that I was going to a job that I didn't like. I didn't feel like I had the purpose I needed, and they were the things that really hurt me. They're actually your why. So the stronger those things that you feel that connection. So, if you feel really strongly you want to be home with your kids, there's your why. What hurts you? What do you think about every day that you want different in your life? So, do you want to spend more time with your family? Do you want opportunities to see the world, create abundance? So your why is going to be your story. So you can then tell people why you came into this business and what the pain that you felt. Now, sometimes we use that as an excuse. So we can say, oh, well, I'm so busy and I've got so much on. But there actually can be your reasons why. Because if you're so busy and got so much on, imagine creating this business from home and really working at it and creating it, then that will be your why. So that you can have that time with your family. You can have the time with your kids. That's what your why. So really connect with why you're doing this, what hurts you. So I want you to write that down, just maybe some dot points that come to mind straight up, whether it's being home with the kids, like me, stressed out, spending more time with the family, seeing the world. What is it that, just put some dot points down to connect with that. So and as I said, your why is your story. So there's 4 parts to your story. Now this, I also want you to write it down, because you're going to after you've finished in this webinar, is I want you to go and write your story. What is it? And there's 4 parts to it. The first part is, what's your background? So did you have a job like I did, or are your mum at home with the kids? Do you do something else? What is your background? Just write down what it is. So something simple. I was a teacher. I was a shop assistant. I was a bank teller. Whatever it might be. So write down what it is your background is. So the second part of your story is your pain point. So just like I was talking about, my pain was feeling unhappy in my job, being stressed out in my job, like a lot of people are, and feeling that not wanting to go to work, not wanting to be there, not feeling like I had purpose. That was my pain point. So really think about your pain point, because when I say to you, if I asked you if you were in a stressed out job, I would say many people would say they had stress in their job, because we know in this busy life that we lead right now that there's a lot of stress in jobs. So, it connects with people. When you name your pain point, it connects you with people. So what's that thing? What's that pain point for you? That's going to be your why. And then your third part of your story is that you found a solution, and the solution is Young Living, right? So that's your third part, is what you found in Young Living. I found the products and I felt happier and healthier, just like that's what I say. My whole family felt happier and healthier. Then, you know, how do you see the future? What do you see the future like with Young Living? We got, you know, and because if you're just starting out, you might need to say it in a way that, you know, we just found these products and we've been using them. Our family's been feeling good. We've been feeling great. And, you know, we're looking forward to having a happier, healthier and more abundant life as we continue to use products. So what does the future look like for you? So those 4 parts make up your story, and that's an important part of your action plan, to know that story so that you can say it to someone as soon as they say, oh, what is this Young Living thing about? You can say, you know, I was a teacher and a guidance officer. I was stressed out at work, and I started using Young Living. I started to feel happier and healthier, and my family did too, and it opened the door to abundance and purpose in my life. So you can say those 4 things really quickly as your story, no matter whether it's a 30-second thing or you need to do it as part of a class. You need to know your why. So put that together as your story and make it really, on those 4 points, really strong story. So the next thing that you're going to do to create your action plan is to make your first goals for the first 6 to 12 months. Now, you will need to focus on your skills and your activity. They are literally the 2 things that you need to get results in this business. So if you don't do activity, you don't get results. And if you don't have skills, you don't have results. But the important thing is that you learn by doing. So what I suggest is what you want to do is focus on those first 12 months on what you need to. Sorry, hopefully you can still hear me okay. I just got a message that my internet wasn't quite working. Hopefully it's okay. Sorry. Yes, you can still hear me. Great. So let me just get rid of that. So yes, so what you want to do is you're going to sorry, you're going to plan your activity. So for the next 6 to 12 months, you're going to decide what you're going to do in terms of activity. So are you going to do classes? Are you going to do one-on-ones? Are you going to do a combination of those things? Are you going to do small groups, like, you know, have 2-3 people around and talk in that way? Are you going to have an afternoon tea? Are you going to have a party? Are you going to have an info session? Whatever you want to call it or do, note down the things that you want to do in your business. So how do you want to connect with people and tell them about Young Living? And those are the things that you then want to focus on, including over the next 6 to 12 months. So and what you want to be doing is, if you're doing classes, you know, and you really want to build fast, you're really looking at, you know, at least 2 to 4 classes a month. And, you know, these are absolute minimum. You know, you can do much more than that. But if you do less, then the momentum is not going to be there to move you forward. And I'm assuming that if you're on this webinar, that you really want to move forward quickly. And so that means that the more activity you do, the more quickly you're going to move forward. The other important thing are the skills. So what do you need to know to get started? Do you know how to invite people? Do you know how to run a class? Now, there are so many resources out there that you can access to get the information about these things. Think about the things you need to know and write those down. What do you need to really work on in your skill level? Now, the great thing about this business is it's a learn by doing. So, you know, invite some friends around and say, hey, I really would like your support. I'm going to be practicing my class, and actually practice with them. So, you know, so that you're feeling comfortable around the people that you know, and that you can practice with friends and get comfortable that way. You know, and you can also, you know, ask your family, hey family, can you sit around, listen to my talk? Excuse me a minute. Excuse me. And really make sure you practice it, because that's one of the things that stops us from moving forward with it, is that we go, oh, I've got to do this class and I've never done a class before, and then we expect to step in and just do it off the top of our head. The best thing that you can do is practice first. So get some people you feel really comfortable with, invite them around and say, I really need your support. Can I practice with you? They're the two key words. I really need your support. Can I practice with you? And just ask them for their feedback. What did they think of how you went, and get that feedback from them. So our next one is, so then once we've got our activities and our skills ready and we're working really hard on those things for the first 6 to 12 months, we want to look forward to our job replacement goal. So basically, what you need to ask yourself is, if you're looking to replace your current income or your job replacement goal, what does that mean to you per month? You know, you need to talk to your team and as well as you're going along, and who wants to go with you? Who wants to go to the next level, and then personally work with them? You really want to work with other people. There's only two things that earn you money in this business. The first one is enrolling people, and the second one is teaching your team to enroll people. When you do those two things, that's when you're moving forward in your business and you gain momentum. So you want to break each of those down into an achievable target. So look at how much, you know, where you want to be at each month, and then break that down again so that it doesn't seem too big. And like I said, each month you want to be working with team who also want to go to the next level. So you always want to be continually enrolling and bringing in new energy yourself. One of the things that starts you to be stagnant in your business is when you enroll people and you go, oh wow, I've enrolled, you know, X amount of people, and then you start to manage those people rather than continually enrolling, because your team will do what you do. So if you stop and start managing everybody else, your team will do the same thing. So you need to make sure that that you're continually enrolling and working that part of the business so that you're creating that new energy continually in your business. And two questions you can ask yourself at this level, looking forward to that 1 to 4 year goal, is, you know, what do you need to do to make this happen? So, you know, if you've got a 4 year goal, what do you actually need to do? Like, really think about what are some of the things that you need to do. You need to continually be enrolling people, but what else do you need to do? Who do you need to become? Who do you need to connect with? One of the biggest questions you can ask yourself to connect with the skills that you need is, who do you need to become? What kind of leader do you want to be in 4 years' time? And that will tell you the things that you need, that you will need to concentrate on for this area. So the next step is your freedom goals. And you're going to write down your freedom goals. These are your long-term goals, 5 to 10 years. So again, we're not talking about, you know, doing everything in a short amount of time. We've got to have those long-term goals. Now, if you look at, go back to the income disclosure statement, and if you have a look that the average time to reach Royal Crown Diamond is just over 8 years. So think about and have a look at what the average income for a Royal Crown Diamond is. Now, if you look at the average income, it's $144,551 per month. So based on that, first of all, remember we were talking about earlier, being comfortable with those numbers, but also start thinking about, you know, what would you do if you had $1,444.51 every month going into your account? What would you do with that money? You know, many of the Royal Crown Diamonds, they do incredible things with their income. They do things like assisting communities, donating to charities, humanitarian projects. And these members make up 1% of Young Living business building members, but they make a great impact on the world. So what can you do to make a great impact on the world? What's your freedom goal? So again, write these things down, because many of us don't look beyond, very few people write down the year's goals, let alone, what they want to be doing in 10 years' time. Imagine if you cast your vision that far into the future in 10 years on what you'd be doing, and create that vision around that. It's an amazing thing to do. Think about what kind of impact would you have on the world in 10 years' time. So the next step is thinking about your target market, because one of the things that we tend to do is we think, oh, we can talk to Young Living about everyone, to everyone, I should say. Now, you can talk to them to everybody, but you can't connect with everybody, right? So more than likely your target market is going to be someone very similar to you. So like if you're a mum and you've got young kids, your target market is probably going to be connecting with mums who have young kids. If you're like me and kids are older, and then you're more likely to, excuse me, to connect with people who are older and maybe looking for a career change, or doing something different with their life, or adding something into their life. So think about who your target market is. What is your ideal person? And use the story model to find a solution for them. So, how can you help them? And I'll give you an example of that. So if you're talking to someone and, they've got some stuff going on in their family, they're concerned about, maybe chemicals in their home, or, there's some, some things going on in the family, and, you can see that one of the great things that they could do was to maybe get rid of the harsh chemicals in their home. So again, you use that story model. So where you talk about the background, so you can say, hey, I'm a mum who cares about the health of my kids, and I was really, really concerned about the harsh chemicals that were around in the house, that they were breathing in, that they were taking in. There's your pain point, that problem. You were so frustrated that cleaners have so many things in it, and some of them aren't even listed, so you don't even know what's happening, or what your children are being exposed to. And the solution, well, we use this Thieves Cleaner, and this Thieves Cleaner is so pure and gentle, and all the family can use it, and we can actually all clean together. We all share the cleaning tasks now, and our kids can we can be assured that our kids are not being exposed to some nasty chemicals. And then the future is, it's changed our family. Now I have 2 boys, and this is true. I have 2 adult boys who have a home that is low tox. The 2 boys that are in their 20s that have a low tox home. It's such a proud parent moment to have children who grow up and then know that not to have chemicals in their house, and want to use things like Thieves Household Cleaner themselves. So, that's the future that we've created. So they're the 4 parts. You can use it for any of the products to tell that story about how you can help them. And if you do it with those 4 parts, so the background, so what's the background? Mum concerned about health. The problem, you don't want your kids exposed to harsh chemicals. The solution, we used Thieves Household Cleaner, and now we can clean together and not be concerned. And then the future, well, now I can have the family are very aware of not having toxins in the house. So you can see that building the story creates the connection to your target market. So build the story that you want to tell around the products. So then the next step that you're going to do is identify your strengths and weaknesses. It's so important for us to connect with those things. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to write down these 7 things. So the first one is inviting. The second one is presenting. The third one is follow-up. The fourth one, helping people to enroll. The fifth one, getting them started with the product or the business. And the next one is promoting events. Now, I'll just say them again: finding people, inviting, presenting, follow-up, helping people enroll, getting a person started on the product or the business, and promoting events. Now, with those that I've just mentioned to you, what I want you to do is rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. So 1 being you have no experience, you've got no idea what to do, you really need some help with working out how to do it. With 10 being you are amazing at it, you can invite everybody and they all turn up, so with 10 being the highest rating. So rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on those skills. Now, when you rate yourself on those on those skills, what you want to do then is you've just given yourself a list of where to start with your training. So if you've given yourself a lower number to say something like presenting, you don't feel confident presenting, then that's what you're going to work on. So, do some training on how to present. Practice your presentation. Get a good script. Like, there are so many scripts. You can even Google for a script and make sure it's a compliant script, and then you practice that script. Like I said, get some people over and say, can you listen and support me so I can practice this. Practice with your dog, practice with your cat. Really get comfortable. The more you get comfortable, the more when you do it, you'll feel much more comfortable doing it. So, if it's something like inviting, if everybody's saying no, then go and, do some research about how to invite people. Do some training on how to invite people and practice, practice, practice. It's such an important thing to do. Practice makes us all so much better. The more we practice, the more comfortable we will be. And we will also learn what works and what doesn't. If we just keep training about it, and we don't practice it, then we actually don't get that experience. So, keep practicing. It's the best way to do it. Learn by doing is what this business is all about. So step 7 is you really need to plan all your events and make sure that you attend all the events. It is an absolute must to attend all Young Living hosted events. We're in a Young Living business, so it is absolutely essential that we get our information and our training from Young Living. I'm sure you haven't heard of one Crown Diamond who said, well, I actually don't attend Young Living events. It just doesn't happen. They know how important it is, and they make sure that they're at every Young Living hosted event. That includes our 20th anniversary celebration in February on the Gold Coast, our International Grand Convention. We have access now to digital ticket for the Global Grand Convention. So, there's no reason why that you can't be part of these things either way. The Live Your Passion Rally, this is an absolute must. If you're growing your business, this should be in your activities for every 3 months. When Young Living dates come out, you put them straight into your calendar, and they are prioritized as events that you will run. Because as a leader, these are the things that we need to be doing. Things like the Live Your Passion Rally, making sure we're at all events. Because one of the things that we need to do is bring the information back to our teams. Home workshops and team events. So, whatever you choose to do, whether, like I said, it's a class, it's an info session, whatever you want to call it, that they are regularly scheduled into your calendar. It is so, so important. Now, bonus step, track your results. This is so important because when you track your results, you'll be amazed at what happens. So you make sure you create an annual goal as well from your income disclosure statement. Have a look at your income disclosure statement and think, okay, where do I want to be in 6 months' time? Where do I want to be in 12 months' time? Write it down on your tracker. And, every time I've done this, where I've actually tracked and I've written my income goal, I've either met it or surpassed it by writing it down. So it's very, very important. So the things that you've got are, you'll see the month, the total members, all this information you can get from Virtual Office or work it out from Virtual Office. So, or of course, things like classes taught, you're going to be recording that. And again, it gives you a great overall picture for the year, because if we go back to step 2, you'll remember it says 0 activity equals 0 results. And so if you've got classes taught 0 in this for month after month, I can guarantee that your YL payment will match that or be close to that. You really need to continue the activity to see that YL payment go up. And it is a great feeling to see, as you're working each month on the work that you're doing, and then seeing, what comes out of that, like the percentage of people on ER. You can always then go, okay, my goal next month is to increase that. And sometimes people go, well, what's the best percentage of people on ER? The answer to that, better than the month before. So, you want to keep your numbers going up. That is your goal. How many personally enrolled should I do every month? More than the month before. The best way to go is to increase it every month. If you make that your goal, you will shoot way, way above the stars, right? So, then, of course, you want to write your goals down and include it as part of your action plan. It's important to connect with your goals every day. One of the things that we tend to do, I don't know about you, but I've written goals before and then walked away and not looked at them again, and then guess what? I didn't achieve them. And one of the things with goals is you have to connect with them. If you don't connect with them and really feel like you can see them, be them, talk them, walk them, then they're really just a dream, right? So you really have to stay connected to your goal and work with it every single day. Now, some of the ways that you can do that is, look for a mentor, look for a crossline buddy, especially if you're, just starting out and you haven't got any team yet. Crossline buddies are great, and and I've had a few over the years, especially in the early days when I didn't have a big team, and I worked with people crossline, and it's a great way to go. So find somebody who has something similar, some similar connection to you, and connect with them about working crossline, even if it's just to tell each other that your goals and to stay accountable to them. There's plenty of Young Living business groups on Facebook, that are for wider Young Living communities. So connect with those. Remember, this is an action plan. So the idea is to find action and do action. So make sure that where you've written down those things, the next step is to do something about it. And you'll also, just let me, I don't know if I can. Yes, I can. So the action planner that you get, you'll see that you put that all together in one document, so you have it there in front of you. Now, when you write this document, you want to make sure you have it in front of you every day. Stick it up somewhere, put it somewhere so you can see it and connect with it. And as you're doing things, tick them off. Really make it an active action plan, that you tick them off, that you cross them off, put a date, and really connect with it. The more you connect with it, the more you will get out of it. As I mentioned, the monthly tracker, you will also then be able to see month after month where you're going and what you're doing, and it will tell you very quickly where you are in your business. And you will be so grateful that if you start this today, you will look back on this in years to come and see. You'll be able to, if someone says to you, how many people did you enroll when you first started? You'll have all the information here. And it's an amazing tool to keep so that you can really keep those numbers. One of the things, and like I said, one of the great ways to look at it is where you want to be the next month is higher than the month before, and keep working at it. So I hope you found that helpful. And thank you so much for attending and being part of this webinar. And I hope that you get your business grows exponentially from this point on. Thanks so much, everyone. Okay, now I just had to stop just